Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samrat. I'm from the UX team of Samsung India. It gives me great pleasure to represent my team, and thank you for joining and attending this session. So here's something to ponder on. Any guesses? So did some of you think or replace the blanks with a me and a well-designed spouse or a me and a well-designed she? Possible. Yeah, so somebody is going the right way. So in the context of the TIZEN Design Summit, let's see what it says. So we truly believe that this is very true for TIZEN. What our users are going to experience is the applications on the TIZEN platform. And therefore, we have taken great care to design the UX ground up to maximize the impact for all our users. This is what I will be covering today. So like I was saying, we have designed the TIZEN UX ground up, and I would like to first talk about the core ideas and philosophy behind our UX. Simple, easy, familiar, open. We arrived at these core ideas after a lot of research and debate. And when we were looking for a metaphor that embodied all this together into one single aspect, we defined that as air. Air is simple. Air is around us. It is open. It's flexible. It provides a rich experience. This is our core philosophy for TIZEN UX. Let me show you how air and its qualities help define our UX. As you must have seen in nature, air creates shapes, open, bold, distinctive shapes. For a moment, just imagine a space like a desert. You'll see very distinctive, bold shapes, some gradations, those kind of things. So with our design, we have worked really hard to ensure that there is no visual clutter in the design, that there is ample open space between elements so that they stand out and are distinctly recognizable. We have minimized the use of lines. They are absolutely missing almost, to demarcate entities. Instead, we found that color gradients serve as an equal and aesthetically more pleasing way to create edges. We also use principles like the principle of white space to help users focus on what is important. So when you see the color gradients help to create a focus, a white space on some of the area and not all in one go. So this helps the user to focus on certain elements. This also gives a very rich experience to the users. Air can be seen in colors, especially colors that give a natural feeling of freshness. In TIZEN, we use tones, natural tones, to create that feeling of freshness so that the apps look beautiful. At the same time, we ensure contrasting colors provide better readability. We have defined colors for primary elements, secondary elements, and very distinctive actions like start and stop. So colors play an important role, and this is a completely new direction where we have used tones, two tones, to create that richness. Air moves in graceful ways to create and give a very pleasant experience. TIZEN uses this to maximize responsiveness, at the same time conveying meaningful information to orient users well. So the way when you tap buttons, it's not abrupt. There's a nice pleasurable experience that you get. It coincides with the movement of air. When you use the slider, there's an informative layer combined along with the action. So these are some of the ways which the air metaphor helped us define our UX. Now let me show you how you can use the air metaphor to create awesome applications. That's what we are here. In design, we always keep user needs at the center of all our discussion. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is how to focus on users' primary goals. For every screen that we design, we came up with rules which will serve as guiding principles. Filling the screens is not necessary. It's visually very cluttering and the user gets confused and is lost. Avoiding redundancy, multiple ways to access the same feature is not required. And we believe that as much as possible, on the first screen, satisfy 80% of the user's needs. This is very important in TIZEN. We really believe in this strongly. For example, in the contacts application, we have provided all key features, including the keypad, on the first screen. This helps user accomplish the task much faster and much quicker. The decision making is much quicker. Whenever required, they can expand it and put in more details. So this avoids, like, user doesn't have to scroll too much, doesn't have to move around too much. Quick decision making. Just save the contact. Another important aspect is to create a sense of flow. Users lose interest in your app if it's hard to navigate. It is important for us to help them make quick decision making through this sense of flow. Another important element is visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy, when provided in the right way, helps guide users and creates that sense of flow. Matching anticipation of the user as to where the next screen will come from and where the next screen will go is also another very important aspect. For example, the pop-ups in TIZEN all glide in from the bottom and they go back from the bottom. It's not in the center, it's not scattered around, it's not of many shapes and sizes. So that creates also a very less visually disturbing space. And that's important. It's anchored at the bottom nicely. Here's another way TIZEN has built. TIZEN was built to use a great paradigm, creating clear distinctions, providing the most important things as defaults, a consistent visual language, and creating depth with gradients. What do these all ensure? Yes, a very quick and easy understanding at a glance of what I should do, what I should read, and what action I should take. Now, I want to spend some time discussing another aspect of TIZEN design. Let's look at iconography. In TIZEN, we have used the circular shape as a signature UX and design element. This is maintained throughout the platform. We invite you to use this, be it when you shape icons, action icons, information icons. The circular shape maintains that consistency, gives it a very sophisticated look and feel, and helps users orient better. So make use of the circular style as much as possible when you think about app elements. Samsung has created a special font We call it the Breeze Sans. It is a highly comfortable font for readability. We recommend not to use too many colors to distinguish text. This creates a lot of visual clutter and the user is distracted. A good example is shown here. The text in green is completely lost because of the number of colors surrounding it. The same can be achieved very easily with same color with just a little bit of gradient where the focus and the eye moves much easily around this. This is a good example of that. And also how the font being so readable helps the user's eye movements to quickly go from one part of the text to another. Colors. In Tizen, more than 50 color themes have been created for a rich user experience. We recommend you to use these when you design your applications. Use the core controls while designing your applications, because when you do that, Samsung has taken care to ensure a delightful experience for the end user. Your apps will look classy. The screens will be more readable. And by using these core control based apps, the user has the freedom to customize a lot of these tones, and because of the core control metaphor, you can just use it across all these 50 themes that are designed. Here's a great example of the metaphor of air working on a platform. Our animations follow a non-abrupt style. They are fluid, they are breeze-like. The look and feel is almost like that of an air. There is a consistent way in which screen elements move in and out on Tizen apps. For example, the notification panel glides in and out from top. You can move across applications with tabs by moving sideways. Temporary views such as the pop-ups, the keypad, appear and disappear from the bottom. This happens across the platform and creates that sense of familiarity that we were speaking about before. Finally, here's something that was really unique. In Tizen, we came up with a fresh way of providing feedback. We wanted to avoid scaling. We found that this visually distracts, creates a sense of distraction, the size of the button increasing. Instead, we used dispersion, another quality of air, which is subtle but gives an excellent feedback mechanism. As you can see, there's just a little dispersion that happens without sizing or scaling the button. This keeps the layout consistent and it's just subtle, giving ample and enough feedback for the user that an action has been taken. So what I explained until now are best practices which we have adopted in all our core applications, be it phone, message, contacts, email. We invite you to refer to these sample applications in detail while designing your own applications. Principles I spoke of before: color, contrast, usage of fonts, glanceability, space are all used here effectively. For example, in email, there are no lines. As I had mentioned earlier, the colors, the gradient of the colors create the edges. The sizes of the font help you distinguish about what is primary, what is secondary. The subtle color variations in the font itself tell you what is the status of the message, read, unread. So we don't need too many visual elements, and that really helps to give a very clean and sophisticated appearance to the entire UX. Even for atypical applications and content, so be it multimedia content or be it applications such as music player, camera, or even the gallery, our design principles make all the applications look simple, easy to use, and beautiful. a few more reference apps that you can check out. So I've tried to show you here in the short time available how Tizen UX was designed from scratch with great care and attention to detail, so that to help our users get the best experience possible from the beautiful apps that you will be designing. Let me run you quickly through some of the key UI elements so that you can use these or refer to these when designing your own applications. I won't talk much about these, I'll just run you through this. So the title bar with minimal action buttons. Tab view, where we support both. What we were talking about, the open layout, it just flows into the status bar area or the title bar and the tabs, and it supports both combination with or without icons. Navigation bar, the scroll, this grid. So this is another good example of how the air metaphor influenced the design of indicators. We provided just the right amount of visual pause to make a rather very mundane object such as the indicator much more interesting. Just the way that it pauses at the end starts out here also. This really helps to create that interest and joyful interactions. Several types of buttons, checkboxes. These are all resources that you can use very easily, and they have been designed from scratch to give a consistent experience. Drop-down menus, sliders with information, with telling you when it reaches a critical threshold. Several types of pickers, pop-ups. A light view to help you select things quickly without the need to go between applications. The floating action, where you can put up to 2 icons or 2 action, so that user doesn't have to navigate or go to options menu all the time. So I'll take up a few questions, but before that, let me show you this. Most of what I covered here today has been provided in this site. We constantly update this website, and I invite you to visit it regularly to check what is the latest on design. There are several resources that are available here which you can use directly when designing for your applications. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
So yes, you can use them for web apps and neat webs.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. I would like to ask, what is the boot time for Tizen? How long does it take to boot up?
So this is a real technical question from a UX point of view.
Okay.
I think I'll introduce you to one of my colleagues.
From the US point of view.
Sure.
Excuse me. Can you please go away? So from the UI point of view, most of the things that you have shown, you said that it has been designed from scratch. I don't see any of those, because when you talk about sans font or serif font, the font that you have said, it's more of like a free Nova font. Mm-hmm. As far as the colors are concerned, I believe the white background, it'll hog on more of the battery because of the light, that the glares that come in. And I also would like to know that is there any option, because most of the colors that you've shown is like greenish, the greenish background with things. So are those options available, where you can actually customize Tizen according to your own usability, or is it, the default view that you're providing?
So if you're familiar with the Z1 where there were 55 color themes, so the same thing has been, so plus 50 out here, but with dual tones, those effects are provided.
Okay.
So it's going to give an option which no other, I think, OS gives. 55 themes. I mean, you can just use whatever. If you want to match it to any clothes you're wearing today and all, that's fantastic. And the point about white is that was one of the reasons to focus the user attention on a certain aspect of the screen. It's not white throughout, like other. We've seen it in different places.
Don't you think gradients also take a lot of memory in terms of in terms of operation, in terms of design, in terms of
this has been done at a code level, so no effect on performance has been seen. That's the beautiful part. The gradients don't move all the time. The white always remains in the white area. It's very distinct. If you've seen the Z1, it's like it's static. So when you just scroll the content from the bottom moves in on the top. So the white area is always established. So the user's focus is always in one place. It doesn't keep getting distracted.
Okay, Abhishek, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Of all the things which you just demonstrated right there, I've seen most of them on my Mi phone or say on a Mizu phone. Okay, so corresponding to the UI changes which you were speaking about earlier, I would like to know how easy are them on the system? Like what is the RAM usage and how fast are they on the system? I've used the Z1, it's pretty fast.
Right.
But when you consider Miju's Flyme OS, Flyme OS takes about say 120 or something amount of RAM, 120 MB of RAM. So how light is this on the system in terms of RAM consumption?
So it has been continuously tested for these kind of parameters, and we have not seen any.
RAM consumption is becoming a primary factor for a user to switch from Android who's been using an Android phone and who has to switch from Android to some other phone. So the only reason he switches to Windows phone is because of the better RAM management system.
Right. So these graphics and the UI elements have been optimized for these kind of. I mean, as you know, the Z1 is a mass market phone.
But that is only WVGA resolution.
Yes. So this is right. So I mean, we have maintained the same. You're saying that because of these dual tones and all, it will affect the RAM usage?
No, I'm asking that whatever optimizations you have done, are they valid only for a particular resolution, or it's valid everywhere for every single resolution?
I understand. I think we'll take this up offline. I will meet you along with a technical colleague of mine, where they have done a lot of R&D on the way, because we work as a UX team, as a design team, we work very closely with the technical R&D, and we keep sharing how the design and how the end user should experience the design. And whenever there's an optimization issue, they tell us, how it can be. So I'll introduce you, and that the other person will be more qualified to answer this. Sorry.
Thank you.
Hi.
Are custom UI possible in Tizen? Custom UIs.
Yes.
For example, you by default have designed the app widgets in round.
Right.
Okay. Or custom UI possible? Can it be installed?
Tizen is a very open platform, and we do not say no. You can. I mean, it is.
No, I understand, but you have provided already. I mean, 55 themes, 50 themes, 50 plus themes already there. So can it overcome and we can develop custom UI? Is it possible, right?
We believe that and recommend that if you design apps in the UI style that we
I understand, because that
will give a very consistent experience.
Okay.
So, but as you know, even in the Z1, the ACL layer used to allow you to put an Android app on Tizen, and it works very well. So.
Yeah, but because reason why I'm asking this question is like custom UI will have extra features which may be RAM consuming. Okay, so in that case,
one of the reasons we don't recommend. I mean, the question that he was asking also, this UI has been optimized for RAM usage.
So in that case, we'll be using only the custom themes which for better performance, or how it is? I mean, already available themes, right? Yeah. Only that can be used for better performance.
You can use it, but we recommend this style.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
It has that flexibility. So.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
most of the time,
Mhm.
as far as the concluding part of Naveen sir's lecture, it has been mentioned Android and iOS, isn't it?
Mhm.
So what are the components are more superior in Tizen as compared to Android? Because Android also has some components totally missing, just like tree view controls, split controls, combo box control, table controls, panels. These are all the controls that are even missing in Android. And if you visit the Stack Overflow site,
Mhm.
the programmers are pleading over there for these controls. And only one answer comes over there, that you have to design your own custom control. So what is the answer to all this? Is if Tizen has to have upper hand over other operating systems,
Mhm.
then Tizen must provide all this. Is it existing in Tizen? Because as far as I have seen, the things were not mentioned. Those controls that I am mentioning over
Currently
here
it's very,
are
very
not
simple
mentioned
and
over
it's
there.
very basic controls are available because we,
And
One-
as far as the high-end app designing is concerned, they require such kind of controls over
I
there.
understand.
And if the controls are not missing, then the whole of the project goes standstill.
Yeah.
So what is the solution to the problem?
So I can't give you a solution right now, but what
And
we,
if
what
Android
we
has all this-
started when we, when we did our research and we did our debates about what to provide, we said that we'll focus only on the simple, that as I covered before, it should satisfy 80% of users' needs. So if I, and it's increasing. I'm not saying that the controls are not coming. They are happening. I know that is happening. There's a lot of work happening. At the same time, we do not want to overwhelm users with a lot of options and those kind
No,
of things. Yeah.
if this is the case,
Yes.
then for the desktop developers and for the web page developers, isn't it?
Right.
So they have provided all the controls. Then they
Mhm.
should have not provided because they are overburdening the programmers with all these controls, isn't it? Then, so if a very good statement by the CEO of Windows, he said that I think we have just overlooked the development in the mobile sector, isn't it? So when the mobile companies are booming up, when the mobile environment is blooming so much, even a layman has having a mobile, then why not the controls are provided? And if the Android has these controls, then what is your approach towards that
So I'm not
solution?
comparing it with the others right
No,
now. I
but
think, yeah.
but if you are in the market, we have to see the good
I
things of the
understand.
opponent also, and then we should provide better than that, not equal,
Hmm.
because already they have the market. And even if you are equal, no chance. But you have to be superior, then there is a good chance. So what about this?
I'll take the point. I
Can-
won't answer
can we
this
have a
question,
discussion
but it's a
offline
very
of this?
important point.
Yeah.
I'll take
can,
it up. Yeah.
can we have offline discussion of
Sure,
also?
sure.
As you have given the facility to other people, that will have an offline discussion.
Sure, no
I would
problem.
love to have an offline
No,
discussion.
because this
with
will
you.
get into,
Yes,
lot of
definitely.
discussion.
I want that
That's why I
opportunity,
won't
please.
take it.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, the last one.
Yeah.
The only thing which I wanted to ask, I am seeing the design when you are coming from a UX platform, especially,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
UX world is moving more towards lighter and brighter colors. Is it right? Because coming, as my fellow senior person said, he's coming from web page environment.
Mhm.
In there, we see the more sites, say Twitter or LinkedIn, they're
Right.
moving towards darker colors, as in like, say LinkedIn, for example, they
Mhm.
have a gray or the silver, or coming towards the blackish side. Coming on the platform in cell phones, we are moving towards the brighter sides.
Okay.
Like for example, KitKat, we have more of the white and bright pale colors in there. Same goes with Tizen. Now I can see similar or say richer. I agree with the point. The colors are a bit richer.
Right.
But what exactly is phenomena behind going towards brighter and white colors more? Or you can say the more brighter color towards is it like to catch the user attention more? Exactly to the point what the screen wants to tell the person who is viewing towards the screen, something like that.
So we have
Because
yeah.
just one point, because battery is always a concern when we are going towards more brighter side and the colors are enhancing.
Sure, sure.
So obviously when we are putting performance at stake, the user satisfaction should be there because we are giving a price that is a battery and the power consumption. So what are we getting in back? The user satisfaction? Is it like that?
Yes. So, it's an important question. We do keep the user's needs and the user experience at the center of everything. But we believe that, it should not affect performance in any which way. So, the entire exercise that we did was to keep it fresh. That's why we use the metaphor of air throughout, where we have tried to keep it fresh. So there is no restricted color scheme. It's not necessarily bright. You can even use the darker color schemes because there is a range of 50 plus themes available. So if you want, you can use the darker color scheme. But at the same time, that gradation effect that we have come up with really helps readability, legibility of what content and text is there. So we didn't want to let that get affected at the same time. So we believe that a combination of white space with the gradient will help us optimize on the performance, battery, those kind of aspects without compensating on the legibility and readability and clarity about what should happen and what should go on. So as I think he had mentioned that if you are a brand, yes, you can have your own color schemes. We don't stop that, and we just recommend that this is much more optimal and performance friendly kind of thing. But yeah, as a brand, you need to follow your guidelines and you need your corporate colors out there, so you could use it. Especially for gamings and all that, you'll have to do that, yeah. Thanks. Last question.
What is the scope of theme development in Tizen UI? Theme development.
Theme development.
Yeah.
So, it's open. It's really open. We have been discussing this. If you've seen, even in the latest flagship device, the Galaxy S6 and all that, there are enough themes which are either market focused or just open out to you. So we want to encourage this, and it's an open area, and everybody is welcome to contribute to that.
So how
I think
should
we'll dwell more about it. As when the phone is launched and all that, you'll come to know about these things. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for attending.